Hey everybody, David here. This is week number 24 for June 15th through June 21st. Now you'll notice last week that I did not put out a weekly video. It's not that I didn't make one, I made about 3 or 4 of them, but I never published any of them because there were just too many changes going on forward. Now as you can see, the safety sign behind me says that there's changes ahead. And there are a lot of changes. So I kind of want to talk about a little bit about 9 months ago when I first started really getting into streaming and got into partnership with Twitch. Now 9 months ago, D&D 5e came out. It was a good time for new people to come into the D&D directory. The D&D directory is a very small community of maybe about, I would say about 100, probably to about 150 to 200 normal viewers, and that's on a nightly basis. And I do watch that on a nightly basis. Of course, there are the exceptions with ItMeJP that has about 4,000 to 5,000 viewers, and then now Geek and Sundry, which is now streaming, and they pull almost about 10,000 viewers. So with those two big channels aside, the D&D community on Twitch is very, very small. And whenever I started streaming D&D 5e, I was basically the first person to stream D&D 5e. I was doing it during the D&D Next period for about 4 to 5 months before the game even came out. So the community grew with the newness of D&D 5th edition. Everything was great. Became partnered. They were having 200 people a night, up to 250 people a night watching the games, and it was everything was all fine and dandy. So over time, over the next 9 months, the numbers have declined, and it's not like there are other channels out there that are having massive viewers either. It's just that the community as a whole has now shrunk back down pre Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition release, which is not bad or anything. It's just having 4 games a week. It is very, very, very time consuming. And I've decided to still continue my 4 games, my 2 D&D 5 games, the Apocalypse game, and also the Orcus campaign that I'm converting from 4th edition, and my 2 Savage Worlds game, which is the Modern Day Zombie Apocalypse, and the new Deadlands Reloaded that will be starting next week. So with these numbers shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, I wanted to try to still get more viewers and try to pull them into the Dungeons and Dragons channel. Now, when you notice whatever I'm streaming, I always, if I'm doing another game, whether it be Grand Theft Auto, whether it be Witcher 3, whether it be any of the Telltale games, I always have in there, Dungeons and Dragons fans, stop in. So I am always trying to promote the Dungeons and Dragons directory, because a lot of people just frankly do not know that there is a D&D directory on twitch.tv. I wish Twitch would promote that a little bit more, but they just don't, because, and I know why they don't, it's because it's such a small community. It's not like it has 250,000 people in it, like League of Legends, or Dota 2, or Counter-Strike, so it is a very small, tight-knit community, and I really appreciate every single one of my followers and subscribers. I really, truly do. If it wasn't for you guys, first off, I would have never became partnered, and second off, I would have never continued to do this full steam ahead for the last 15 months now, and it's really consumed a lot of my life. I mean, it truly, really has. And I've actually kind of worn myself down a little bit by doing this as much as I have. So that's why I've already mentioned a change once. That's why I'm making a change. I want a little bit more time for myself, but yet still have more of a presence on Twitch, whether it be in different directories in G2A, Wolf Among Us, Witcher 3, any of the survival games out there. So I will have more of a presence. And in fact, I'll probably be streaming twice as much, but without all of the pressure of, building campaigns, coming up with content. So I want to tell you guys about the new schedule. Mondays is pretty much going to be it's going to be a flex day or a video game day. I can't tell you what games I'm going to play, but every Monday I can give you a list of games that I will be playing. Now, also, if you guys want to see me stream a particular game, I have no problem with that. But, you know, the more games that I start streaming, it's just the more and more software that I have to invest in. So if there's a big consensus of me playing a certain particular game, I have no problem with it. It's just that I want to have a pretty good group of people that want to see it. If just not one or two people want to see it, but I'll try to do my best. I have 350 games on Steam. So you could take a look at my library and see what I have, and if I don't have it, I'll try to get it. All right. So that's going to be Monday. Tuesday is now one of my D&D nights. So starting tomorrow, which is Tuesday at 8 p.m., same bat time. Nothing else is changing, people. I've gotten a lot of emails already. Well, how come you're cutting all your games out? No, I'm not cutting any games. I'm not cutting any players. All of my players are moving to the different nights. No problem at all. Thank goodness for that. But I'm just going to be doing them every other week. So that's what's going to be happening. And I'm sorry about the phone ringing. So tomorrow, Tuesday, will be Savage Worlds Zombie Apocalypse. I am going to go ahead and continue with the Zombie Apocalypse until I get my Numenera box set. And then once I get my Numenera box set, probably in the next month and a half, then we will go ahead and convert over. We will put the Savage Worlds Zombie Apocalypse game on hold, and then continue with that game later down the line after we play Numenera for a little bit. Now, that's tomorrow. So Savage Worlds will play tomorrow. And then next Tuesday, the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Orcus campaign will play with Gimli, Orange, Farland, Crasher, and also I'm going to have a new player joining them as well. Don't know who, but it's going to be one of my existing players. I'll move them from another game. So that's going to be on Tuesday. So this week is Savage Worlds Zombie Apocalypse. Next week is the Orcus campaign, and we'll just flip-flop back and forth. So there you go. Wednesday is going to be I'm going to be streaming 2 different times on Wednesday. In the morning or in the afternoon, I'll be doing video games, also workshop prep or game prep. So, and the workshop prep will be for that night. So, and this is another thing that I'm going to be changing. I'm not going to be doing the DM workshops anymore in the Dungeons & Dragons channel. I'm going to be moving that to the Games Talk Show channel that they have, the directory. It has a lot more people, and hopefully it can spread the word that, hey, there's a Dungeons & Dragons directory on Twitch. So, so the DM workshop, the one-shops, or the roundtables that I'm going to be having, I have a roundtable that's going to be starting in 2 weeks, where I'm going to be inviting other dungeon masters into the Skype, and we're going to talk about different techniques, and we're going to field a bunch of questions from you, the audience. So I will also talk about questions in just a second. So that's going to be Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. every single Wednesday. So that is not changing whatsoever. Thursday is going to be like Monday. It's going to be a video game / flex day. And what I mean by flex day is it could be a day that I take off. I will try to take no days off, but once in a while I may have to because of other commitments that I have in life. So Friday is going to be my second D&D game of the week, and you'll see that Friday at 8 p.m. there will be this Friday Princes of the Apocalypse. Next week will be Savage Worlds Deadlands Reloaded. Now Savage Worlds is a Weird West. It takes place in about the 1880s, 1890s in the United States. It's going to be very good at Savage World rules, and we will also be converting that game to Fantasy Grounds. We will be using Roll20 also for the SoundCloud and whatnot, but the game itself will be played in Fantasy Grounds, which is a great virtual tabletop that has made leaps and bounds worth of improvements than when I bought it 2 years ago, and it wasn't too good then. But now it is owned by a different company, new developers, and Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm so impressed with Fantasy Grounds. It's a little bit more expensive, but it kicks total ass with what it can do. So also, I'll be showing that off on Wednesday during the DM workshop this week. All right, so Saturday and Sunday, those are going to be no D&D games. They are going to be basically video games or flex days. Also, what I mean by video games, I also want to do more things with you guys. Heist in GTA. I also want to do more Cards Against Humanity. So it's going to give me more time to game with you guys, because I know a lot of you guys want to get into my D&D games, and I simply just don't have the spots. Every single day I get people asking me in the Twitch channel, asking me on the contact list, asking me, via Twitch messages, via Facebook, via Twitter. Every single day I get people asking to join a game, and I wish I could give everybody an opportunity to play, but I just can't. So, that's why I want to do one-shots more consistently also on Wednesday. Now, if I do the one-shots, of course it's going to be, it's going to be in the Dungeons and Dragons directory, and it will also be using Roll20. So I will not be doing one-shots with Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds takes a little bit more time to use, so we'll be doing that with Roll20. But who knows? Maybe in the future, once I learn it a lot more and I can explain it a lot better, then maybe I might move one-shots to Fantasy Grounds also. But as of right now, all of the one-shots, they're going to be primarily Savage Worlds, because of the rule sets is really simple. They'll either be Savage Worlds or D&D 5e. And when I mean Savage Worlds, it can be anything from a modern day game to a Jack the Ripper 1890 England setting, or a space setting, maybe out in outer space, superheroes. So Savage Worlds has a lot of versatility to where you can play anything. It's a really good system. So everybody, that's the schedule change. That's the big schedule change. Still, nothing's changing. No games are being cut. It's just that I'm going to be doing 2 games a week instead of 3 to 4 to 5, which is, guys, it just makes a lot more sense for me. It's going to give me more time to work on tutorials. That I have a list of tutorials, 2 pages long here, of viewer requested tutorials that people want, and I just simply don't have the time to do them. So now, with this new schedule, I will have the time to start doing these tutorials for people, which is a good thing. So there you go. That's everything about the new schedule change. And believe me, guys, it is for the better. So, along with this, nothing's going to change. The EXP bot is actually going to be running even more now. So you'll be able to accumulate more XP. Every single day, I'm going to have an auction up for a game. So that's why you guys get EXP. Most of you like to bid on the games. Every single day now, there will be a game. So, you're going to still get the 1 XP every 5 minutes. Sometimes I'll do double bonus days at 2 or maybe even 5. You guys still, if you sub to the channel, if you sub to the Patreon, you'll get 300 EXP also. Per month. You'll also get 30 EXP for every $1 you donate. And guys, that's how I'm able to give back to the community and get these games to play for you guys. So your contributions do help, and most of this does go back into the community. Believe me, especially when you do games every night. $30, $40 D&D books every month that you're giving away. It's pretty costly. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a roundtable. So this is the last thing that I kind of want to, there's 2 more things that I want to kind of touch on. First is the questions. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave a comment down below, or you can send it to me on the contact list, or you can send it to me on Twitch. I'm going to start, I've cleaned out my Twitch box, so I'll be going back in there. So if you guys have a particular question that you want me to answer, Dungeon Master related, player related, how to handle this, what would you do in this situation, any kind of D&D question, hell, any kind of question. You can ask me what I'm wearing tomorrow and I will tell you. So as long as it's, as long as it's a nice, fun, clean question, I have no problem about that. So if you want to ask Dave a question, feel free to leave the comments down below. I'll check the comments on Monday morning. Well, in fact, I check the comments every day. But I will save your questions, and then I'll answer your questions on the DM Workshops nights. So I think that would be a great way to answer these questions on that kind of a platform. And plus, we can have other people chime in as well. What would they do in this situation? Or what, maybe there's 3 or 4 people that Dungeon Master D&D 5e, and you want to know what kind of encounter you would do in this situation. So not only I would have my input, we would have input from 3 or 4 other individuals. So I think that would be a good way to answer your questions. So don't be scared to ask the questions, guys. Seriously, ask away. Now, last thing I want to touch on before I go into last week's what happened last week, is the T-shirts. Now, the T-shirts are being finalized. They've been in the process of being done the last probably month now, and I've almost got it to where there's going to be a logo and the logo and tabletopping on the shirt. So I'm getting it down to where I'm within the same color guidelines, the size guideline. Hopefully I'll be able to give you, hopefully I'll be able to give you the actual link next week. I'm hoping. If it's sooner, like I was hoping, then I'll get it to you sooner. If not, hopefully it'll be next week. So last week, well, actually it was a very, very busy week. For me, it was very taxing coming up, trying to come up with the perfect schedule, trying to pray that I wasn't going to lose any players, taking the Sunday game, moving it to Tuesday, or taking the Thursday game, moving it to Tuesday, taking the Saturday game, moving it to Friday. What am I going to do on these other days? Yada, yada, yada. What kind of games am I going to play? What kind of games am I going to enjoy playing that I think other people would enjoy? Because there's a lot of decisions that needed to be made. So, but still had 3 games last week. We had our Zombie Apocalypse. It was going to be the finale, but it ends up we're just going to go ahead and continue it because I just haven't gotten my Numenera box set yet. So Betty's son died last week. Vay's character, Vita, the beet farmer from Arstotzka, she actually committed suicide, and the players got off of the boat, the Pinnacle. And they also they got into like an old World War II type of gunboat, and they were out in the middle of the Atlantic. Everything was working on the boats until they found out that of course the fuel lines were severed because there was a ruckus in the boat with one of the other paramilitary men that had been attacked by a zombie, and didn't work out for them. So anyways, they hit a hurricane. So at the end of this hurricane, they saw land off into the distance, and that's where we're going to continue with this next week. So, well, this week, which will be tomorrow. So that's what happened with the Savage Worlds Zombie Apocalypse game. Now, we also had we made characters for the Savage Worlds Deadlands. It was awesome. We had a lot of fun testing out Fantasy Grounds. We had a lot of help from everyone. Thank you guys so much for helping out, learning us, teaching us how to use Fantasy Grounds. It's a great virtual tabletop. We also played Princes of the Apocalypse last week. We had the players. They went to Lance Rock, and unfortunately Donk, our Goliath, he climbed to the top of Lance Rock, which is it's about a 25-foot tall rock, but it's not a very sturdy rock. And unfortunately, Donk, with with our Halfling Ranger, the weight of them two basically made Lance Rock topple over, which is kind of sad because the citizens of Red Larch actually kind of see that as a monument of the lands. But poor old Donk, man, his big old 350, 400 pound Goliath self was not help knock that thing over. But they did find the the Necromancer, as he calls himself, the Lord of Lance Rock. They've taken out some of his minions, but yet they still need to find him, and they are yet still chasing him down within this massive cave system inside of Lance Rock. Now, we also played last night. We played the Orcus campaign, where the group of characters, they made it inside of Honor Hold with they talked their way in with some type of they were trying to sell slaves to the orcs and to Duergar there. Anyways, it didn't work out for them. They just weren't able to convince the orcs. So all hell broke loose. But they did really well. A couple people went down. Crasher almost died. Farland almost died. I mean, it was pretty hellish trying to beat their way into that Honor Hold. But hey, they're there. They're in a pretty safe position now, and they also hit level 4, so that's a good thing for them. And that was 4 games last week. That was the last week of 4 games, plus with everything else going on. It was a fun week. So we're starting the new schedule this week. So like I said, today I'll be doing video games as soon as I'm done here. I'll be streaming once in the afternoon and then tonight as well. And I'll be doing games such as Grand Theft Auto 5. I'll be doing multiplayer also. So if you want to do some heist and if you want to play some multiplayer, hey, let me know. Let's do it, guys. I mean, seriously, that's what I want to do. I want to do heist with you guys. I want to do some pretty crazy stuff. Now, tonight or Thursday, I'll be doing A Wolf Among Us. I've got that downloaded, so I'll be starting episode 1 with that. My son said it was very good. I also have Banner Saga that I would like to do. That's a great story game. I've also picked up Borderlands, the new Telltale Borderlands story. I'd also like to start doing that. And I have episode 4 of the Game of Thrones. And you sons of bitches at Game of Thrones, you killed off my favorite character last night in the season finale. I can't believe it. I'm not going to tell you who, but you sons of bitches. Finally, I have one character that I actually get attached to, and then you just blindside me and you railroad me and you kill them off. Unbelievable. So, and then I'll also be playing Witcher 3, which was donated by the Runs, and that's such a good game too. So, also, I have a game of Pillars of Eternity going. And I'm going to take that game and I'm going to delete it because it was a super easy mode. I actually think it was too easy, so I'm going to be ramping it up and doing a harder version of the game that I was doing, and I'm going to start that over basically. So there you go. That's what's going to be going video game wise. Tomorrow night will be the Savage Worlds zombie apocalypse game. They've found land, and we'll see what happens. Friday, we'll be doing D&D, Princes of the Apocalypse. Also, Wednesday, the Dungeon Master Workshop. I see, and this is another great thing about having less on my table every week to do. I'm basically finished with the monster conversion and the trap conversion from 4E to 5E. So tonight. Wednesday night, whenever I'm in the Games Talk Show channel doing my Dungeon Master Workshop, I will be doing monsters or traps, whatever comes up first. And like I said, that'll be in the game channel. So thank you guys again. I appreciate it. Sorry for the very long-winded Monday video this week, but there's a lot going on. And I really wanted to talk to you guys and let you know what the changes are. So don't forget, on DM Workshop night on every Wednesday, I'm going to be answering your questions. So please, everybody, ask your questions here in the comments section. I would prefer them be here in a comment section so I can just go right down the line and answer those one at a time and bring the audience into it also. Or if you feel like you would rather privately send me a message, hit the contact button. There's a link down below to that. Or if you want to send me a message on Twitch, feel free to do that. So thank you guys again. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's support. And I'll see you playing Grand Theft Auto in about 10 minutes. See ya.